Fear, that heart-pounding, breath-stealing feeling. It's a sensation that can strike at any moment, often without warning. Whether it's the fear of heights, the fear of public speaking, or the fear of the unknown, it can grip us tightly, making us feel powerless and vulnerable. It's a primal instinct designed to protect us from danger. This instinct has been hardwired into our brains since the dawn of humanity, helping our ancestors survive in a world full of threats. But in today's world, where physical dangers are less common, fear often manifests in other ways. But what happens when fear itself becomes the danger, holding us captive in its icy grip? We've all felt it. The paralyzing sensation that keeps us from moving forward, from taking risks, from living our lives to the fullest. It's a silent enemy that can be just as dangerous as any physical threat. The knot in our stomachs before a big presentation, the trembling hands, the dry mouth. These are all signs that fear is taking hold, trying to convince us that we're not good enough, that we'll fail, that we'll be judged. The racing heart on a first date, the fear of rejection, the worry that we won't be liked or accepted. These fears can be so powerful that they prevent us from forming meaningful connections, from experiencing the joy of new relationships, the hesitation to chase a dream because of the possibility of failure, the fear of stepping out of our comfort zones, of taking a leap of faith. These fears can keep us stuck, preventing us from achieving our true potential. Fear whispers doubts, urging us to retreat into our comfort zones to avoid the unknown at all costs. It tells us that it's safer to stay where we are, to not take risks, to not venture into the unknown. We are wired for connection, for love, for joy. These are the things that make life worth living, that bring us happiness and fulfillment. But fear can stand in the way, creating barriers that keep us from experiencing these beautiful aspects of our human experience. But fear, if we let it, can eclipse these beautiful aspects of our human experience. It can cast a shadow over our lives, making us feel isolated and alone even when we're surrounded by others. It can keep us small, safe, and ultimately unfulfilled. But we have the power to overcome it, to face our fears, to break free from its grip. By doing so, we can live our lives to the fullest, embracing all the beauty and joy that life has to offer. Fear has a cunning way of disguising itself as a protector, a shield against potential pain, but its true nature is far more insidious. Fear is a paralyzing force that prevents us from experiencing the fullness of life. How many dreams have been left unrealized? How many opportunities missed because fear whispered, "What if? What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if you get hurt?" Fear thrives on what ifs. It feeds our insecurities, magnifies our doubts, and keeps us trapped in a cycle of inaction. It tells us to play it safe, to avoid risks, to settle for a life less than what we truly desire. Our bodies are remarkably attuned to our emotional states. Fear, in particular, triggers a cascade of physiological responses designed to prepare us for fight, flight, or freeze. When we perceive a threat, real or imagined, our sympathetic nervous system kicks into gear. Adrenaline courses through our veins, our heart rate and breathing accelerate, and our muscles tense up, ready for action. While this stress response can be life-saving in truly dangerous situations, it takes a toll on our bodies when activated chronically. Long-term exposure to fear and stress can weaken our immune system, disrupt our sleep, and contribute to a host of physical and mental health problems. Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself. These words, though simple, hold a profound truth. Fear has a way of amplifying our perception of suffering, making it seem far more daunting and unbearable than it often is. We build elaborate scenarios in our minds, imagining worst-case outcomes, and convincing ourselves that we couldn't possibly handle the pain of disappointment, rejection, or failure. But the truth is, we are far more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. The human spirit possesses an incredible capacity for healing, growth, and adaptation. We have an innate ability to navigate challenges, overcome adversity, and emerge from difficult experiences stronger and wiser. Section 5. Tell your heart a new story. Our hearts are storytellers, constantly weaving narratives based on our experiences, beliefs, and fears. Every beat, every pulse carries with it a story that shapes our reality. These stories can be empowering, lifting us to new heights, or they can be limiting, holding us back from our true potential. If we've lived with fear for a long time, our hearts might be stuck in a loop, replaying old stories of hurt, disappointment, and self-doubt. These narratives can become so ingrained that they feel like an unchangeable part of us, a script written in stone. But the truth is, these stories are not permanent. They are not the final word on who we are or who we can become. But here's the good news. We have the power to change the narrative. We are the authors of our own stories, and we can choose to rewrite them at any moment. It starts with recognizing the old stories for what they are, just stories. They are not facts, and they do not define us. We can choose to tell our hearts a new story, one of courage, resilience, and hope. Imagine a story where you are the hero, overcoming obstacles and emerging stronger and wiser. A story where every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and every setback is a setup for a comeback. It starts with challenging the limiting beliefs that keep us tethered to fear. These beliefs are often based on past experiences or the opinions of others, but they are not the ultimate truth. We can question them, examine them, and ultimately, let them go. What if, instead of asking, "What if I fail?" we ask, "What if I succeed?" What if, instead of fearing the unknown, we embrace it as a realm of endless possibilities? What if we allowed ourselves to dream bigger, to hope more, and to believe in our own potential? What if, instead of focusing on the potential for pain, we open ourselves to the possibility of joy, growth, and fulfillment? By telling our hearts a new story, we can transform our lives. We can create a narrative filled with love, adventure, and endless potential. So take a moment, pick up your pen, and start writing your new story today. Section 6. Small steps, big victories. Overcoming fear is not about suddenly becoming fearless. It's about taking small, consistent steps outside of our comfort zones, expanding our capacity for courage one experience at a time. Start with something that feels slightly uncomfortable but not overwhelming. Perhaps it's speaking up in a meeting, trying a new activity, or expressing your feelings to someone you care about. Each time we face a fear and come out the other side, we build resilience, confidence, and a belief in our ability to handle whatever life throws our way. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. Section 7. The joy on the other side of fear. What awaits us on the other side of fear is not just the absence of pain, but the presence of something far greater: joy, fulfillment, and a life lived on our own terms. When we break free from the shackles of fear, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We give ourselves permission to dream bigger, to love more deeply, and to experience life with a sense of wonder and adventure. We discover hidden strengths, uncover passions we never knew we had, and forge deeper connections with ourselves and others. The journey may not always be easy, but the rewards are immeasurable. Section 8. Embracing vulnerability, embracing life. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, something to be avoided at all costs. We are taught to build walls around our hearts, to protect ourselves from the potential pain of rejection, failure, or disappointment. But what if we reframe our understanding of vulnerability? But in truth, vulnerability is the birthplace of courage, connection, and joy. It is the raw, unfiltered moments of our lives that bring us closer to others and to our true selves. When we dare to be vulnerable, we open the door to deeper relationships and richer experiences. It is in our willingness to be seen, imperfections and all, that we truly come alive. By embracing our flaws and showing our true selves, we invite others to do the same. This mutual exchange of authenticity fosters a sense of belonging and acceptance. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we give others permission to do the same. This creates a ripple effect, encouraging a culture of openness and trust. In these moments, we find that we are not alone in our struggles, and that our shared experiences can be a source of strength. We create spaces for authentic connection, where we can share our stories, support each other, and celebrate our shared humanity. These connections are the foundation of a fulfilling life, providing us with the emotional support and understanding we need to thrive. Embracing vulnerability is not about seeking out pain or putting ourselves in harm's way. It's about recognizing that vulnerability is a natural part of the human experience. It is through our vulnerability that we find our greatest strength and resilience. It's about showing up in our lives with our hearts open, even when it feels scary, even when we're not sure of the outcome. By doing so, we allow ourselves to experience the full spectrum of life, from the highs of joy and love to the lows of sorrow and loss. In this way, we truly embrace life in all its beauty and complexity. Section 9. Conclusion, a call to courage. Fear may always be a part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to control us. We have the power to choose courage over comfort, to step into the unknown with open hearts and a belief in our own resilience. Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself. Remind yourself that you are stronger than you think, more capable than you imagine, and worthy of a life filled with joy, love, and fulfillment. So, take a deep breath, silence the inner critic, and take that first step. The world is waiting to meet the courageous you.